Good morning. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I've been listening to you for a while, and I love your message about unconditionality, and I've been trying to practice that in my everyday life. And I've been relatively successful looking at the outside conditions and trying to feel a better feeling thought and looking at things from a positive perspective. Where I'm finding the greatest opportunity for practice is within my own household with my 4 children, specifically my 13-year-old daughter. She likes...
Well, that is the one exception in this universe.
She likes to stir the pot. Outside of our house, she is the model child, which, comes from her. I don't need her to fit into any arbitrary boxes, but she chooses to do that outside the house. So then when she comes inside the house, to balance the person she's trying to be outside the house, she sometimes just goes ballistic and antagonizes her siblings, sometimes even with violence. She'll hit them or, which I know, I consider kind of normal kid stuff. But I don't know how to respond from a place of being unconditional when she does that. When it's directed towards me and she's nasty to me and tells me she hates me or I'm a terrible mother or whatever, I really can, most of the time, turn the other cheek and not respond at her vibrational level, but I try to keep my vibration higher. And it really does, I have found, calm her down, and it stops. Where I have a problem is when she's interacting with the other children in the house and they don't know what to do. I feel like I need to intervene, and even my 15-year-old daughter says, "Aren't you going to do anything about this? She just hit me." And I just don't know what to do because I want to be unconditional. I don't want her to need to be who I want her to be or who her siblings want her to be.
Well, there's something important that we want to talk about first, and then we'll sort this out in a way that you will feel some resolution about it.
Thank you.
Most important is when we speak of unconditional love, what we're saying is when you look at a condition like your daughter, first of all, feeling so bad that she's striking out and hitting someone, there's a lot for you to feel bad about. You feel bad about the seeming victim who's being hit, and you feel bad that you've got a daughter who you want to feel good, who clearly feels so bad that she's acting out in that way. So this is a condition that is not lovable. In other words, you can't look at that condition and feel love at the same time. Now, the reason that you feel bad ever is because you're looking at something, and in looking at it you're activating a vibration that is different from the source within you. So every time you feel bad, it always means, no exception, you're looking at something and therefore have activated something that is different than the source within you. So another way of saying that is the source within you is not looking at that in the same way that you are. So then you want to ask, are you saying that my inner being or the source within me is looking at this fist fight and not seeing the fist fight, only seeing the value? And we say yes. In other words, that's what unconditional love is. Unconditional love is loving regardless of the condition. Loving regardless of the condition. So you said something really interesting. You said, and you weren't right when you said it, but you said it, and we're going to nail you on this for this reason. just playing with you. You said, when she's outside the house, she plays this role of this perfect child, and that's the reason that she has so much trouble when she's inside the house. And we don't think that the two are related. We think that what it is that, first of all, there's more scrutiny inside everybody's house than there is outside. For this reason, you really like this. As you've spent all of these years living with these children, and let's just talk about this 13-year-old, you have had lots of opportunity to know what you don't want as well as what you do want. Every time you knew what you didn't want, you put something in vibrational escrow. So you have created your version of that girl in your escrow. How about that? You created your version of that girl in your escrow. Are you with us? So when she behaves in a way that's different than what you put there, you feel split and you want her to behave more like that. But the thing that we want you to hear, and we said it earlier, come with us on this. When you put your version of her in your escrow, it was about your expansion, not hers. Because you can't create in her reality. You just used her as part of the reason that you became more. And now you're using her as your excuse not to be the more that you became. We talked about this earlier. And that's why it feels like your unconditional love is being jeopardized. Oh, we're right on the brink of something really big here. So let's go back again. Unconditional love simply means I love regardless of the condition. But think about what it really means. I love because I choose to look at this version of you, not that version of you. And do I do it because I'm trying to entice you there? Well, maybe, but that's not the best reason. Because if you do it to entice her there and she doesn't come, then it all feels all the worse. But if you do it because that's who you have become and you just can't do other than that, now you are a powerful, powerful, powerful influence. Because now you see her as you know she can be. And when you see her in a personally non-divided way of who she can be, do you know that one who's tuned in, tapped in, turned on with their idea is more powerful and therefore more influential than a million who are not? You see? So now let's talk about why she's able to maintain her view of who she is more easily outside her household than in. Now, first of all, that's pretty tricky because teenagers are really hard on each other. That's not an easy environment to navigate, but it's natural that it would be easier for them out there actually than inside the house, because nobody out there cares even close to as much about how she does as you all do inside the house. In other words, you all have created all of these vibrational escrows about her and about each other, and then you hold each other responsible for living up to them, and it's why people have so many dysfunctional families, and it's why so much of what goes on in later therapy is about that, you see. You're just using one another as your excuse to separate from who you are. Is that helpful? So what is unconditional love? Unconditional love is me telling the story the way it really is in my evolved version rather than the way it used to be. And you can't go back. When life causes you to see her this way, you can't bear to see her that way. But it's not her job to be different. It's your job to hold to the vision of what is over here. That's what unconditional love is. Me staying in sync with the expanded version of me. Nothing feels worse than to be mad at somebody. Not because they made you mad, but because in being mad at them, you've separated yourself from who you are. It's your own disservice to yourself that you're feeling, you see. And so when you sort of get your teeth in that and you start demanding of yourself, I will be who I am because I cannot be less than who I've become, then your relationships start cleaning up. And here's the thing that we so want you to hear. You have become, we're just going to take our time so that you can hear this fully. You have become so much more because of the problems of this 13-year-old. You have expanded dramatically because of that. And because of your attention to her, you're not letting yourself go toward your expansion. It's sort of the opposite of unconditional love. So what you could say, if you really want to clean it up, is, listen, Missy, you and all your antics made me become more. And I'm not going to look at you where you are and keep myself from being the more that you caused me to become. And then you say to the other girl, you guys are just going to have to fight this out. Because I can't get involved with it without defying who I have become. And you've got a choice. You can do the same thing I'm doing. Now, we know your society, maybe even the school system, there are a lot of people that would say, well, ignorance is bliss and all of that, and you just can't. But they are not looking at the bigger picture. It's not working the other way. It's not working the other way. It's not working the other way. How can the peanut gallery condemn you for something that they don't even know about when what they're doing isn't working? It's not working. You can't punish your children into alignment. You can't condemn them into alignment. You can't put them into juvenile detention into alignment. You can't put them into alignment by pointing out what's wrong. The only way you can bring them to an improved life experience is by holding the view of the improved life experience. There are no other options. So unconditional love is not only a good feeling thing, it's the only thing. And there comes a time when, as years go by, and you'll all laugh about it, you'll say, there was a time when wringing your neck seemed like the best feeling thing I could think of. Helpful?
Very. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to come together with those like you. Easy about this. It's not this hard. We're making way too much of this. You know what to do. You've got guidance that shows you. And we know that you know what we know about your escrow. Now you just got to figure out how to get closer to it. And the answer to that is just find more ways to get happy. Lean in the direction of what feels good. Thought by thought, thought by thought, thought by thought. And all of us who are not only rooting for you, but are standing there with the prize of the evolved being that is you, will continue to call you step by step in the direction of who you really are. We feel such appreciation for your willingness to pour through the nitty-gritty of your experience. And as we said earlier, and we so want you to hear it, if it were not for your willingness to do the step oneing, there would be no step twoing for us. And we like the step twoing. It is delicious to watch and be part of the orchestration of the things that you're asking for. But there is no satisfaction in all of the universe that is greater for us than to see you, one by one, deliberately choose a thought that causes you to lean in the direction of what you have carved out for yourself, and then consciously witness the manifestational evidence of that success. There is great love here for you. And as always, we joyously remain incomplete.